While I'm in LA, all of my work is getting done on this bad boy, the MSI Stealth GS77, powered by an NVIDIA 30 series GPU. If you're in the market for a laptop that can handle absolutely anything you throw at it, then stick around to the end of the video to learn more. Gamers, it's Shill up here, coming at you live, sort of, not really, from Los Angeles, California, home of the late E3 and the very much alive Key 3, a name so official that GameSpot staff made a shirt to celebrate it. While I may be jet lagged as hell, I'm still over here doing my best to cover the news and go hands-on with as much as I can. For example, I played Warhammer 40k Darktide yesterday, and it was fucking cool. But I'm not allowed to say any more on that until next week, so you'll just have to trust me for now. I promised you a bumper crop of This Week in Video Games episodes so we could avoid the risk of a 2-hour-long edition of the show next week, and an uncomfortable number of you were like, actually, I'd be fine with that. Reading these comments, Austin had a mental breakdown and threatened to quit if I dared deliver said 2-hour showcase, and since this channel would be fucked without Austin, we're gonna do it his way. Here's the biggest reveals and the best new gameplay from day one of the Summer Games Festival. Jeff Keighley did warn us that this showcase would be focused on taking a deeper look at already announced games, and he made good on that promise when he revealed a classic fighter returning to the roster for Street Fighter 6. When I saw a fighter jet and the words America's Hero, I was really hoping it'd be Maverick from Top Gun, since let's be real, he's absolutely America's hero right now. But Guile has a chonky new look and his flat top flaps out wider than ever before, plus he combs it now, so he's like half a step away from Johnny Bravo at this point. Anyway, his gameplay looked pretty rad. Next up was the reveal of a brand new Aliens game called Aliens Dark Descent. We've really only got a cinematic trailer and the tiniest flash of gameplay that made clear that this is an isometric squad-based tactical shooter. This comes from Tinderloss Interactive, who were before this putting out Battlefleet Gothic games, which are ship-based strategy games, so this is quite a big jump for them. Alien games are pretty famously patchy, so let's hope this one is one of the good ones. Yo, Callisto Protocol. So, we got some gameplay, and I'm like scared to show it to you because I'm pretty sure this video will get demonetized, but I don't care because goddamn does this gameplay look fucking awesome. Callisto Protocol is that one from the team behind the original Dead Space series. They left to form their own thing after EA did an S-tier job of ruining the franchise they had so lovingly built, and the studio along with it, mind you. To see this team form their own studio and create their own sequel, and for it to look this impressive, that's a real fairy tale story. Let's just hope it has a happy ending when the game launches on December 2nd. Call of Duty, right, so we got a first look at gameplay here. This one has like every single Call of Duty studio working on it. Infinity Ward, Treyarch, Sledgehammer Games, High Noon, Axe Grind, Raven Software, Toys for Bob, Jello Mold, Demonware, Beanox, so many studios that I actually made up 2 of those studio names and you didn't even notice. The campaign gameplay is looking pretty cool, I guess, but COD games have always looked impressive, but their set-piece driven missions have struggled to impress for a long-ass time. 2019's Modern Warfare did have some strong moments, but they were just that, moments. The rest of the package was plenty shiny, but you certainly didn't feel the need to go back and replay any part of it. The mission here looked cool, I guess. I don't know, I've definitely learned to take a wait-and-see approach to COD, which is exactly what I'll do this year. The game launches October 28th, but don't forget there's also a new Warzone coming out as well, and this is the last Call of Duty we're going to get for a while, since Activision have said that they won't be releasing one next year, the first time they're opting out of their annual release cycle since 2007. So it's a pretty massive year for COD, and I personally do plan on checking it out. Hey, this looks cool. Flashback is a revival of a 30-year-old IP. It's got a nice 2D, 3D thing going on. I like it. Okay, now, this next one was definitely one of the showstoppers. We'd seen this one a little while back, but we got a significantly expanded view of it today, WITCHFIRE. It's a roguelike first-person shooter set in the age of the musket, but it's also got spells and a dash and a magic bell you can ring to kill enemies, like in Spider-Man 3. This was definitely one of the most promising trailers we saw throughout the showcase, and the good news is that it's coming soon-ish. They're going to be launching into early access first, so if you want to stay on top of this one, then you can wishlist it on the Epic Games Store, because it's not coming to Steam. I literally found that out as I was Googling it after this, and I was like, whoa, okay, fair enough. We already have the Callisto Protocol and a Dead Space remake coming, but it seems as though sci-fi survival horror is all the rage right now since Fort Solis was revealed, and that gave off a distinct Dead Space vibe as well, though to be fair, we didn't see too much of it. We do know that both Roger Clark of Red Dead Redemption 2 fame and Troy Baker of NFT fame are playing leading roles as the voice cast, so that's kind of cool. Oh, and you thought 3 Dead Space-like games was enough? Well, no. How about 4? Routine is a sci-fi horror game set in a 1980s version of the future. We don't know much about this one either, except that it's scored by none other than Mick Gordon, the legendary Doom composer whose very public falling out with id Software meant that he could no longer work for the franchise or any Bethesda title, I'm gonna guess. But a man as talented as Mick, it's nice to know we'll be enjoying his work somewhere. And then, The Rock made an appearance. Here's a clip of him talking.
Slow down. Who's been stealing your thoughts?
No, but seriously, here is a clip of The Rock actually talking.
Dwayne Johnson here, coming at you from my Iron Paradise, powered by, of course, very hot Zoa Energy, and the number one fastest growing room for cheesy jokes. There's always room for the extra. You guys know me, and that's what I'm delivering, and I deliver them often.
What the fuck is he talking about? I've watched this 3 times now, and I still can't make sense of it. I think he's trying to set a record for the highest number of advertisement shoutouts crammed into a 3-minute block. But doesn't he know that he's up against Jeff Keighley? He'll never defeat Jeff in that category. Anyway, I think The Rock was here to spruik some microtransaction power-up Fortnite drink can that gives you Superman powers or something. I don't know, who fucking cares. Back to video games. You might remember when Blizzard said, hey, we aren't making RTS games anymore. And so the team behind StarCraft said, well, fuck you. And they left, and they set up their own studio called Frost Giant, a wink and a nod to their Blizzard heritage. We knew that they were working on an RTS title, and this week we got a flashy cinematic and a title reveal, Stormgate. We got like 2 screenshots, and that was it. Very cagey about details for this one, but they did say that they will be running a beta in 2023, so we can park our excitement for this one a little while yet. American Arcadia is a title I've had on my radar for a little while. It's basically the 3rd act of The Truman Show if it was a video game, only a lot more colourful and zany, and I just like where things are going with this one. Okay, this next one, the greatest of all time, and by that I mean, the GOAT. I was literally laughing hysterically from the moment the first GOAT appeared until the last headbutt. This game knows exactly what it's doing, and it's doing it super well. We got a release date for this one, Northern Autumn this year. I kid you not, I'm very keen. Did you get my joke then? My GOAT joke? If you did, hit the like button. If you didn't, hit the like button. Last year we got our first look at Marvel's Midnight Suns, which is essentially XCOM but with a super cool roster of Marvel heroes that we don't hear enough about. Badasses like Blade and Ghost Rider and Magic, for example. This title has apparently undergone a bit of a rework behind the scenes, and the controversial card system that was the backbone of the game was, well, yeah, controversial. It's not exactly clear what has changed or how much has changed, but we got this cool trailer with Spider-Man and Hulk and Venom and another Spider-Man 3 shout out.
Counting on you again, old friend. 3, 2, 1. That used to always work. Well, it did that one time.
Neon White is definitely one of those games you should have on your radar. It's from Annapurna Interactive, who have an extremely strong track record, including Outer Wilds. This one is a weird one. I've never seen anything like it. It describes itself as a single-player speedrunning FPS where you can sacrifice your guns for godlike parkour moves. And yeah, the gameplay totally sells that. You can use cards to either attack targets or consume those cards to pull off parkour shit you wouldn't otherwise be able to do. I love games that are just doing totally weird, off-the-wall stuff that no other game is doing, and no one has yet combined the deck-building genre with the parkour shooter genre, like Slay the Spire meets Mirror's Edge. Tell me that's not cool. This one is coming out real soon, June 16th, so yeah, you can put that on your wish list if you like. One indie game that I previously shouted out on my Put This On Your Radar segment is Midnight Express. It's made by one dude, and it looks like this. A lot of John Wick, Sifu energy coming off this one. It looks like simple, straightforward beat-em-up fun with plenty of style to back it up. This one got a release date August 23rd, and there's a demo out right now on Steam so you can make up your own mind. I did know that MiHoYo, makers of Genshin Impact, were working on a new, very impressive looking project called ZENLESS Zone Zero. What I didn't know is that they're also working on a sequel to their Honkai series. The next one is called Star Rail, and it's looking very Genshin, but sci-fi, and I'm kind of digging it.
Remember what you feel in this moment. As long as you know in your heart where you're heading, you will arrive at the end of the story.
We did get some more One Piece gameplay, but I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I know absolutely nothing about One Piece, so I can't say anything about this. It looks cool, I guess, but maybe it's terrible. I wouldn't know, but I know that Twitter and Reddit seem pleased with it, so I'm gonna guess it's good. Okay, that's as much as I can give you. Unlike One Piece, I actually know something about this next one. It's called Metal Hellsinger, and it's a rhythm-based FPS, sort of like BPM, but really, really different to BPM in some interesting ways. I got early access to the demo, and I spent like 4 hours on just one level because I was having so much fun with it, and I really wanted to nail a perfect run. This one is gonna be pretty cool, trust me on that. I feel like Nightingale was one of the other show's standouts, but maybe that's because I'm becoming more interested in survival games as time goes on. This looks more polished than a lot of survival games we get, or at least more visually polished. From a presentation perspective, there's just something that feels very distinct in this package, where a lot of other survival games tend to blend together in terms of how they look. They're also hinting at a more narrative-focused experience, which again is kind of rare for the genre. This one is slated for Q4 this year, when they plan to launch into early access, so a full 1.0 release for this one is a long way off yet. We've got some Warhammer 40k Darktide gameplay, but like I said, I'm going to talk about that later because I got to play it, and it'll be better if I can just talk unrestricted rather than worrying that I'm going to break some kind of embargo. But yeah, we'll come back to this one next week. But like I said, it's fucking cool. The Bloober team are a bit of a punching bag for the industry at the moment for a few reasons, but in large part because they're now working on a Silent Hill game when a lot of people don't think they're really up to the task. I don't know, personally, I want to give them a chance, but today we learned that Silent Hill isn't the only thing they're working on. Layers of Fear is their next most immediate project. The trailer we got didn't give much away, it was just a broody collage of generalized horror stuff. We don't have a release window for this one yet, so you gotta guess that it's coming sometime in 2023. For the final big news chunk, Neil Druckmann himself took to the stage. We all kind of expected him to immediately start talking about The Last of Us remake, which was unceremoniously leaked to the PSN just hours before his presentation. But instead, he surprised us with some information about Naughty Dog's upcoming multiplayer title. This was confirmed multiple times by Sony in the past, but we had no idea what it actually was, since it could have just been Factions 2.0 or something separate from The Last of Us entirely, or anything in between that. So Neil tells us that this is kind of in between that. It did begin its life as a Factions update, but soon ballooned into one of Naughty Dog's most ambitious titles. Neil says that this game is as big or bigger than any other Naughty Dog game that they've made, and that it has its own narrative delivered in a totally unique way. It's set in the Last of Us universe, but it's set in San Francisco, as evidenced by this key art, and it will star a totally new cast of characters. Neil was clear that we won't hear any more about this year, which means we can expect a 2023 launch at the earliest. But yeah, kind of exciting to be honest. Factions has a lot of loyal followers, and to know that Naughty Dog have taken that and then moved beyond it to deliver something larger than any game they've made before, those are some big promises, and if Naughty Dog can deliver that, then I think we'll be in for something really special here. That wasn't the only Last of Us news we got though. Neil gave us an update on the Last of Us TV show, which he says is the most authentic adaptation of a video game property yet, which will be nice, coming off Halo, which is the second most inauthentic adaptation of a video game property yet, topped only by Bob Hoskins' Super Mario Bros. And even then, it's a line ball call, to be honest. The final piece of Last of Us news we got was the one we knew was coming. The Last of Us remake, the most leaked game ever, or maybe the second most leaked game after The Last of Us 2. Eep. The remake is still weird, as in, it looks nice, sure, but like, not that nice. I don't know, I would have been totally fine if they didn't do this because the original game still holds up. So yeah, the side-by-side comparisons are impressive, and the new facial modeling is better and more accurate, But yeah, man, I don't know, like fucking Bloodborne still runs at 15 frames a second, but let's remake The Last of Us. Again, because don't forget, it already got a PS4 update. Druckmann's appearance heralded the conclusion of the Summer Games Fest, and we're left to remark on all the meta questions. Was the showcase good? Was the games good? Was it better or worse than the other webinars? And how much cocaine had The Rock snorted before he filmed that video? I think that the Summer Games Festival showcase was a pretty good time. I've certainly seen the commentary out there that this showcase was light on big juicy reveals, and that's sort of true, but let's not forget that this is a PR window that is typically utilized by major publishers to host their own showcases where they can show off their own shit. PlayStation did just that last week, Xbox is doing it Sunday, Ubisoft has said they're doing it later this year. All things considered, I think Jeff pulled together a pretty good showing. It had some reveals like Alien Dark Descent, Fort Solis, Stormgate, Layers of Fear, and The Last of Us stuff. It showed off some pretty cool gameplay for stuff like Street Fighter 6, the Callisto Protocol, Witchfire, and One Piece. It was pretty free of those annoying Gillette mascot ads or anti-vape commercials, and it was generally pretty cringe-free, The Rock notwithstanding. We've seen some highs and lows in this business, from the lows of the Command & Conquer mobile game tournament during the EA showcase, to the legendary highs of Joseph Fares sharing his intimate thoughts on the Oscar, and I'd put this showcase squarely in the middle of all that, so I think that's a job well done. It wasn't the only showcase, mind you, for we also had the deranged corporate madness of the Devolver Digital Showcase. What once might have been considered parody is now more of a character study of the average personality type running large video game publishers, but I do think this year's cast of characters and plotlines were a little more strained than Devolver's previous outings. They had so expertly managed to thread the needle in showcases past, but for the first time ever, it did start to feel as though the gag was a little played out. That is until Suda51 showed up, most famous for his work on the No More Heroes series. His presence grounded the proceedings with seriousness and gravitas, like this.
25분 51秒, 25분 50秒, 25분 49秒, 25분 48秒, 8秒. 25분 47秒, 25분 46秒, 26분 45秒, 25분 44秒, 25분 43秒, 25분 42秒, 25분 41秒, 25분 40秒, 10秒. 아, 疲れてきたぞ. 25분 39秒, 20なんとか. 아, 誰もいないな.
Devolver Showcase was short and kinda sharp. 5 games were on display. The first, weird roguelike dungeon crawler Cult of the Lamb. This one had been shown off a bunch of times already, and we got a release date August 11th. Then came this bad boy. Devolver will literally publish a 3D first-person Hotline Miami-like before publishing an actual Hotline Miami 3. But you know what? We'll take what we can get. This one is called, wait for it, Angry Foot. Probably the best name for any game released in the last 10 years, except for maybe Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. Angerfoot is just about as close to Hotline Miami as we can get, but rather than try to explain the gameplay to you, I'll just let Jacksepticeye show it to you.
Alright, what do I do? Press E to kick. That was sick! Dude, I'm gonna kick your bong! I'm gonna kick your speakers! I'm gonna kick you! Ow. You don't deserve life! Are you a dinosaur?
Angerfoot isn't out until next year, but it does have a demo you can play, so go and play it. I know I will be. Card Shark got a brief showing, but that one dropped last week, so we already knew about that one. No one knew about this one though, and it looks absolutely incredible.
Jot roamed the land in search of adventure, battling beasts, helping the helpless, and generally being very heroic. But then one day he discovered something rather curious.
This one is called Plucky Squire, and to be honest with you, I was already on board when it was just the 2D book gameplay. I was like, oh cool, they made a 2D platformer that looks like a book. That's cute, I'll play that. And then bam, straight out of that book and into the land of 3D, like that Simpsons episode, but way less terrible. We really don't talk enough about how creepy that 3D Homer was. Anyway, Plucky stole every heart at the show and instantly shot to the top of everyone's watch lists, a level of visual distinctiveness that very, very few games can achieve, and we've only seen brief snippets. We don't have a release date for this one yet, but it's 2023 and I'm counting the days. As much as I am pumped for that one, I think this clip impressed me most out of anything that I saw today. I've had Skate Story on my radar for a long ass time, ever since I saw a brief Twitter clip of it at some point, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck is this? This thing takes skateboarding and turns it into this metaphysical, spiritual journey. Sadly, I can't play the sound because it's a licensed track and that would demonetize the entire video. Fuck you, record labels. But just trust me when I tell you that the soundtrack here is so good. It's just dreamy, ephemeral indie rock that totally matches the vibe. I love it so much. This whole package is just like, oh, I want this so bad. I live for these flow games, and this is one of the best looking ones I've seen yet. And you're on a skateboard. The developer made this game for me and me alone, and I hate that I have to wait until 2023 to play it. A little more over-the-top dialogue from the Devolver crew, and that was a wrap. Like I said, a short, sort of sharp show that probably could have been a few minutes shorter had Devolver tightened their script a little, but then we'd probably miss out on Suda's number bit, and that just would not have been okay. But who am I to criticize script length? Anyone who's ever watched me for any length of time would know that that's the deepest form of hypocrisy. Austin's nodding along to that one. Guys, that is all we have got for today. The next 2 days are a little bit quiet, but come Sunday, things go absolutely gangbusters with the Xbox showcase and the PC showcase. I'm gonna try and get a video out for those straight after, but I gotta catch a flight that night, so I'm not sure how we're gonna go. If you want to know if I'm successful in my video making quest, then be sure to subscribe and ding the notification bell. Some big stuff coming this week. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. So I'm in LA, and you may ask, shill up, what hardware is powerful enough to handle all of your sizzling hot takes and your terrible jokes? I'll tell you, it's the MSI GS77 laptop powered by an NVIDIA 30 series GPU. Here you can see my mobile command station, the laptop, a microphone, a flimsy tripod. It's with these humble tools that I bring you this week in video games when I'm on the road. Did I say humble? Sorry, I meant top of the line, because that's what the MSI Stealth GS77 laptop is. This thing packs up to an NVIDIA RTX 3080 Ti and up to a Core i9 processor. That is more powerful than my desktop computer that I review most of my games on, since I'm still running a 2080 Ti on my review machine. NVIDIA's GPUs are the unparalleled leaders in the field, not only because of their raw processing power, but because of the new technology NVIDIA keeps bringing to the table. Stuff like Max-Q, which is a unique tech that optimizes the performance and battery life of gaming laptops just like the GS77. Then there's stuff like NVIDIA DLSS, which provides a massive uplift in performance depending on which game you're playing. For example, when I played Guardians of the Galaxy on an NVIDIA GPU and turned on DLSS, I got a 50% increase in frame rate. That is nuts, that's insane, that's ridiculous. The GS77 has all this and more. It has a sleek, angular design. This thing is super thin, by the way, way thinner than a lot of other gaming laptops I've used. It's got a programmable RGB keyboard developed by friend of the channel, SteelSeries. It's kept cool by MSI's Cooler Booster 5 technology, which helps increase performance and battery life. And speaking of the battery, it has the longest life battery you can put into a laptop, any larger, and they will not let you take it on an aircraft. That's how powerful this battery is. Using this on my trip has made working and playing games so much easier. I did some Destiny Pinnacles from my hotel room, and I was getting like 120 frames a second at max settings. That's how good this laptop is. So if you want to check it out, then click the link below. It's in the description, in the pinned comment, and be sure to check out MSI's full range of laptops to see what they have on offer. Thanks MSI and NVIDIA for sponsoring the video, and thank you for watching it.